But Judy Herbster gave us the greatest example she could possibly give, because she spent her life devoted to never second-guessing, never living life with any regrets that she didn't do something that needed to be done to make the world better for those around her. Only limitation to the greatest potential we could ever reach is our own effort. We're going to experience success like nothing we've ever seen before. Go out there and take advantage of it. This is our time. This is your time. Don't live life with any regrets. Don't say 10 years from now, if only I had got involved and made a difference when the getting was good. You have some awesome, ambitious, big, hairy, audacious goals in this organization and this team. We do all across Conklin. We went from, in 2015, 77 master contractors, now we call them preferred contractors, 77 master contractors across the country, not just your organization, but all across Conklin Roofing Systems, to in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, we broke the century mark and had 110 preferred contractors across America. That's worth clapping for. And I know they get honored a lot, and for a good reason. But you have a couple who I have the utmost respect and admiration for, that I love to death, that are just dripping with wisdom. And I don't say that lightly, I mean that. I hope you get around them often and realize just how blessed you are to get a chance to learn from them. You have a couple in the back who had 63 of those preferred contractors were on their team. Would they stand, please, Lester and Rachel Utsi, so you can give them a hand and honor them for what a big year it was for them? There's something special going on out there, folks. It's called momentum. We went from 20 first-year preferred contractors in 2015 to 40 last year. Now, I don't know about you, I'm not the greatest when it comes to math, but I think, if I'm not wrong, that's pretty darn near close to 100% growth. Am I right? Yes. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And guess what? They were in 29 states across the country. I can't tell you how excited I am for not just where we've been in the last few years, but where we're going, what the next 5 years is going to look like. Because I know that we're going to continue to add preferred contractors. We're going to continue to add in states. We're likely to this year have the very first preferred contractor in 2 states that I wouldn't have envisioned that was going to happen in. The state of Alaska and the state of Hawaii. How cool is that? How cool is that? You know, Laverne, I think, really expanded our horizons on what's possible out there. I want to share one thing with you. I'm not going to say who it is. They're not in the room today, but there's some incredible things going on. I'm going to talk about a few more things that I see on the horizon as far as economic trends that really ought to make you excited if they haven't already, if you've been watching the news. But we have one of our top preferred contractors at Conklin with a very successful business that so far in the year of 2017, so far the year to date, they have done proposals. I don't say bids. I call them proposals or solutions. Because that's what we do, right? You heard Simon up here this morning. We create solutions for building owners. But this contractor has done proposals, put together solutions for $270 million of roofs so far this year. $270 million. Now, I don't know about you, but if their closing rate is anything close to where Laverne's closing rate is, you think they're going to have a pretty good year? I think so too. That's what's going on across the world of Conklin, folks. This thing is about to absolutely explode. It already has, but we're about ready to have exponential growth like none of us have ever seen. Ever seen. I want to share with you a few just quick details. You can do your own research. I love to, I guess, as I said, I served in the legislature for 2 4-year terms. That's our maximum in Nebraska. And I guess you could call them, I'm a policy wonk, I guess is the expression for it. I love to dig into financial reports and economic trends and see what's going on. Because guess what? I can tell you this. You may not like politics or not, and I know politicians are some of the most despised people in America, sometimes for good reason. But I'm telling you what goes on in Washington, or what goes on in Harrisburg, if you're here in Pennsylvania, or any other state you're from, your state capital, your local city hall, it trickles down to all of us as business owners, right? If you don't understand that, or you've never thought of it in that way, I hope you do. Because it's a reality. I'm going to share with you a couple of statistics and things that are happening out there that I think are really going to have an enormous impact on our business going forward. The first one is, and I love it because it's in the hall, we have, for the first time in a long time, a businessman in the White House. How about it? I'm telling you, I hope you're already seeing results from that in your businesses. If you aren't, you will very soon. The commercial roofing industry across America is about a $6 billion a year business. I don't know if you realize that or not. What piece of that is going to be yours? What piece of that $6 billion a year is going to be yours? We're growing right now at a rate in commercial roofing of about 5 to 6% every year. Now, 5 to 6%, some people say, well, that's not a whole lot. Well, it's a lot when you think about in the billions, right? That's a tremendous amount. Let me go through a few other things that I think that might surprise you. Retrofits, building retrofits or restoration work accounts for about 75% of all the commercial roofing that's going on in America today. I know sometimes people say, well, I thought a lot of it was new construction. I see all these buildings going on. But what about all the buildings that were built 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Folks, building owners today are sitting on an incredible amount of resources, whether it's overseas, whether it's here in America. The seeds of where we are today, ladies and gentlemen, were sown in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Because what happened in those 3 years? If any of you were already in commercial roofing, it wasn't a real fun time, was it? I think we heard somebody last night, Elias or Matthias, I don't remember who it was, one of you guys, I think, talked about, you got started in your business about that time, and a banker kind of said, ooh, boy, not a real good time to start a business. It wasn't. They succeeded. Many of you were going through business at that particular time, but people held on to their money, and what did they do? They didn't do a whole lot of maintenance. They didn't do a whole lot of roofing. Well, guess what? They are now. They are now. A couple other things I'm going to share with you here just to kind of show you where we're going. Have you started to notice that more and more people are buying online? Who's with me in that? America is buying online, right? Guess what? Our businesses' distribution points aren't set up with warehouses to deliver the kind of things that are being required today by the Amazons, by the Googles, by companies that have got to deliver to people's homes. The fastest growing, and if you're seeing this in your business, I'm seeing this all over the country, wherever I travel to visit all of you across the country. The fastest growing sector in the commercial roofing market today is in the mixed use category.
I see Elias nod his head back there. He knows where I'm going with this. And you all do too, if you think about it. You might not have thought mixed use, but here's where I'm going. An office in the front part of the building, right? Warehouse in the back. Might be 600,000 square feet, might be 60,000 square feet, might be 6,000 square feet. That's the fastest growing sector of all commercial construction and commercial roofing today in America. Because it's setting the stage for where our economy is going to be in a decade, or 2 decades, or 3 decades from now. It's time we take advantage of the opportunity that's before us. I follow a lot of trends, and I'm going to just throw these out there because there's some things that you all could follow if you get time. I know we're all busy. AIA, American Institute of Architects, National Roofing Contractors Association, NRCA, Associated Builders and Contractors of America. Those are just a few organizations that do a lot of economic trends. And here's the reason that I bring that up. Some of you say, well, what does that really have to do with roofing? Not a whole lot, just that close. But when you're sitting down, as Laverne just talked about, with a commercial building owner, they're following that. They're getting ready to make major decisions, financial decisions with ramifications for their business on replacing a roof or building a new building that you might get the opportunity to put a proposal on, and they're watching those economic trends. It's a good thing to be versed in them even just a little bit. I want to go over, I told somebody this a couple weeks ago, and I think they told me, they said, Bo, I think you're kind of pieing in the sky on this one. And I said, well, maybe I am, but I want to just go through a few things that I honestly believe. Here's a statement I made, and I'll make it to you again. And I'm not just saying this because I'm standing on the stage in front of you. I mean this with all my heart. I haven't been doing this forever, but I'm doing this almost 20 years. I know I don't look that old, but I am. At least my wife says I look that old, but we'll just leave it at, I've been doing it for almost 20 years. Some of you have been doing it twice that long in this room. So you've seen a lot more trends than I have. But there has never been a time in America in my lifetime, as good as it is right now, to be sitting where you're sitting as a commercial roofing contractor. Never. I just mentioned, we have a businessman in the White House who's pro-business. We have, no matter what your politics are, we have a Congress that is pro-business. We have interest rates that are low. Inflation's low. Folks are borrowing money to grow their business. Consumer confidence is at an all-time high. Confidence, we're in the kind of a hub of what was once the Rust Belt, right? Here in Pennsylvania, Ohio, where there was a lot of manufacturing that had left the country. And now we're experiencing that renaissance in manufacturing, American manufacturing. Manufacturing confidence today is at the highest level in almost 40 years, ladies and gentlemen. 40 years. You know the last time that manufacturing confidence was this high? 1982. Ronald Reagan was 2 years into his 8 years being president of the United States. And at that point, Ronald Reagan pushed through what was then the largest tax cut package in American history. Guess what's going to happen later on this year if all things go according to plan? They never quite do in Congress, but the President, through the Treasury Secretary, just a couple of weeks ago, rolled out what will be the most audacious tax cut package since Ronald Reagan in 1982. You better be excited about that. Because guess what? It's not just your building owner, potential customers and customers that are going to get that tax cut. We all are, right? How excited are you for paying less taxes? I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about that. You know, there's an enormous amount of potential out there, and I could go on and on. I didn't even rattle off half of what I had. It's all about, over the next 5 years, in my opinion, it's all about getting out there, like Laverne said, and being persistent. Being persistent. And you can look this up. It's been talked about in a lot of studies. 2%
of sales are made on the first contact. Over 80% of sales are made after 10 to 12 contacts. Might be an email, might be a call, might be stopping by, that follow-up. The reason I think that's connected to the next 5 years is this. We're all going to experience success, but are we going to do that extra effort? Are we going to maximize that potential over the course of the next 5 years to be successful? I think that involves something, and this is where I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes, in my last couple of minutes. Am I okay time-wise over here? Owen, still good? All right. I'm going to talk about something, shift gears just a little bit, because I think maximizing your potential and being successful over the course of the next 5 years and now over a lifetime is through something called servant leadership. You know, I had a completely different talk put together before last week. Completely different talk. And I thought it was impactful. I was going to talk about momentum. It's a huge part of it. To what's going on. Your team has it. We have it at Conklin. But as been mentioned, those of you, some of you knew this, some of you knew her, some of you never had a chance to meet her. But last week, the co-owner, president and COO of Conklin, Miss Judith Herbster, wife of Charles W. Herbster, passed away instantly from a massive heart attack. And I don't tell that to be a downer to you. I tell it to you as the fact that I flew here yesterday. Day before yesterday was Judy's funeral service. A good number of you in the room were there. Night before was the viewing in Falls City, Nebraska, in a little farm community that Charles and Judy are from. Simon went through earlier. They've owned the company since 1992. Before that, they built an organization like many of you as distributors in Conklin. I had the opportunity over the course of the last 2.5 years, and even before that, being involved with Charles and Judy through politics, to interact with Judy on a daily basis, sometimes 4, 5, 6 times a day. Now, I know there's a lot of you in the room that have known Judy for way longer than I have. And you're blessed because of that. I didn't know her that long. But while I knew her, I became very close to her. And losing her really had put something heavy on my heart to spend a couple of minutes here talking about servant leadership. There's a verse I love in the Bible. You may or may not read it every day. It's fine. I just find there's a lot of comfort, a lot of wisdom in Ephesians 4:1, where it says, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. You know, it was talked about very eloquently, but much better than I can, just what Judy's life meant to a lot of us. She was a servant leader like no one I've ever been around my entire life. You know, I'm very fond of acrostics. Some of you will know what I'm talking about, where the first letter of several words makes one word. There's an acrostic that I think just symbolizes Judy and what she meant. You take the word family. Forget about me. I love you. Family. Forget about me. I love you. That was Judy Herbster. That's what servant leadership is. That's what your leaders mean to this team. That's what a Rod and Sheila Livesey, a Lester and Rachel Butzi, the Raber couples, all your leaders, the Schrocks, and I'm not going to leave anybody out. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Servant leadership. That's how, that's how we maximize ourselves over the course of the next 5 years and beyond. There's a quote that I want to read. Some of you are familiar with it. President Teddy Roosevelt, 1910, over 100 years ago, in a speech, said something that I think is very profound. He said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man or the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. Now, I don't know about you, that gives me hope. That gives me hope, and I hope it does to you too, that we all screw up. None of us are perfect. You think there's any perfect business owners in the room? Am I right, Laverne? Are any of us perfect? No. We all are going to screw up. We're all going to make mistakes. For there's great risk and great reward in being an entrepreneur. But I don't know about you, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way but to be part of free enterprise, to be an entrepreneur, to get the opportunity to know that for me and my family and you and your family and your organization, the only limitation to the greatest potential we could ever reach is our own effort. Only in America would that be possible. Only in America could we have that opportunity. I shared with a couple of people last night that we had the opportunity, as I said, to travel to China at the beginning of this year to pick up our son, Mac. And if you've never been in a communist country, you realize really, really fast, well, we're flawed. And we fail. We have our limitations and shortcomings in America. We are blessed beyond measure to get to call the United States of America home. Because there are literally billions of people around the world that would kill for the opportunity to be in a room today and to be business owners, to be able to make something better of their life and their family. They come here in boats, ladies and gentlemen. They swim. They cross borders to come to America. Probably your ancestors did it. Mine did. You can look at my last name and know my family came from Ireland. Potato family. Nothing, not a penny to their name, and carved out a life for themselves. That's what this country means. It's easy, I know, to go through life and we start to say, woe is me, or we had a tough roofing project, or man, this is just getting me down. I hope you stop once in a while. Think what it means to be a servant leader. What it means to lay it all on the line for those around you. What it means to never ask your team or your family or anybody around you to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Because that's what Judy Herbster meant to me. That's what she meant to Conklin. She did a lot of things. She was a grand lady. A lady we'll always love and respect and cherish her memory. But Judy Herbster gave us the greatest example she could possibly give. Because she spent her life devoted to never second guessing, never living life with any regrets that she didn't do something that needed to be done to make the world better for those around her. We can take that same legacy. We can cherish that legacy and be committed to making sure we do things with the absolute best quality, the best workmanship, to give it our all. That's how we can cherish that kind of a legacy. I know that's how you do business. That's how we strive to do business. Are we perfect? Do we have shortcomings? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, the next 5 years at Conklin and beyond are going to be incredible. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see just our division at Conklin hit not just 40 million this year in year 40, but I think we're going to hit 50 million. And guess what happens at 50 million? Anybody say aloha? Because we're going to Hawaii on the contractor trip. How about that? That's what that means. Then we're going to hit 100 million.
I firmly believe that the roofing systems division at Conklin in the not too distant future will be $250 million and beyond because of what all of you are doing, the leadership that you have, what you're doing, the team that you have, that you come around people, that you love on each other, that you share ideas, you mentor each other, you do things that regular business in America just doesn't do. And because of that, you're experiencing growth in an exponential way. It's an incredible blessing to get a chance to be part of this. No matter how little or great of sleep I get, I wake up every day energized, enthusiastic, and I hope you do too, about what's going on out there. I love the opportunity that's before us. I love what the next 5 years means. And I know that we're going to experience success like nothing we've ever seen before. Go out there and take advantage of it. This is our time. This is your time. Don't live life with any regrets. Don't say 10 years from now, if only I had got involved and made a difference when the getting was good. Don't be one of those. Say, I did what it took. I put in 5 good years or more, and I built a legacy for my family for generations. Because that's what a lot of people in this room have done. Your leaders have done. They put in the hard work. They've done what it took. They're continuing to do that. They've changed the course of their family's destiny forever. And how cool is that? Only in America.